Hello and welcome to the Feminine as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Monica Yates, a period and women's life coach, where I help women to harness the power of their period and connect back to their true superpowers. In these episodes, we'll be talking about all things periods, vaginas, hormones, women's health, sex, confidence, food, femininity, and all the stuff that goes through our heads. You will walk away from each episode with new nuggets and truth bombs, as I don't seem to have a filter and I love talking about all the shit that people are too afraid to say, but everyone is thinking. Ladies, I am so fucking excited for this episode. It's quite a bit of effort on my behalf, but I'm totally there to do it. Totally keen for it, totally vibing, totally yes to this whole fucking thing. This podcast, I'm just going to say right now, is probably going to be the most important podcast for anybody to listen to. Anybody, woman, child, man, daughter, husband, wife, dog, cat, elephant, whatever. Everybody needs to listen to this podcast. And the reason for this is every fucking day pretty much I get a DM about a girl that's gone to the doctors and her doctor said she has to go on this, or he wouldn't remove or she wouldn't remove her IUD, or, I was put on Roaccutane, or like all these different things, or like, I was told I have to get a hysterectomy. Is there anything else that I can do? And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, these are 20, 23, 24, some a little bit older. It doesn't matter the age. Although it is more alarming when it's like a 20-year-old woman, which there's way too many of you guys sending messages in. Please continue to do so, but it's disgusting at the same time from the doctor's end. And this is a generalization, right? Mass generalization, because there's obviously some incredible doctors out there that don't do this. And hey, let's collab on this shit, guys. If you have an incredible doctor, can you please send me her or his details, or a gynecologist or whatever? And let's put together like a Google Doc. Actually, I know what I'm going to do. Fuck yes, talk about hashtag collaboration. I'm going to make a Google Doc and I'm going to put the link to it in the description. So what you can do, ladies, let's not be mean and go and delete the whole thing or whatever. That would be rude for everybody. If you've got hate problems with this, well then don't listen to this episode and I don't know, go do something else. But let's create a Google Doc where I'm going to put like where you can put the heading in terms of like the city that you live in and your doctor's name, and then put your name so we can also reference your name to that doctor. And then other women can go and find a really good doctor in that area. I think that would be absolutely incredible. So what I want to do is, what am I trying to say? I just got like totally inspired by that idea. So this podcast episode basically is a mass generalization, because obviously not all doctors are like this, but there is too many doctors out there that are giving false information, the wrong information, scary information, or whatever else to young women when they go and try and talk about their period. There's every extreme from, just skip your periods, you don't need them, to have a hysterectomy at 20 years old. Like, what gives and what the fuck? How can anybody in their right mind do this? And then one of my clients this morning sent me a fucking newspaper article saying that they've now created contraceptive earrings. Let me try and find it. Where are you? Here we go. Earrings as birth control. And it says, forget about popping a daily pill. Scientists have developed a new form of birth control, contraceptive earrings. The clip-on jewelry is infused with synthetic hormones which pass through the skin of the wearer's earlobe, that's interesting, earlobe, and into her bloodstream, thus preventing pregnancy. The earrings eliminate the need to remember to take the pill, which can have a failure rate of as low as 0.3% if taken correctly. In real-world conditions, which I've talked about on my other episodes, the failure rate is as high as 9% for the birth control pill, so they're saying that the earrings are better. What the effing F? We've now gone to earrings. Like, how about we go to like women understanding their bodies and knowing that they can't get pregnant at any time of your cycle, cue episode whatever that is. Let me actually go back and do that right now and find it while I talk, because that'd be good to be able to tell you what episode that is. When I'm talking about, the episode is called like, you can't get pregnant at any time. Anyway, what about we teach women an empowered option where they understand their body and they can trust themselves and they put the power back in themselves, as opposed to putting the power in a drug. Because the bottom line is, whether you put the power in your Mirena, your IUD, your Depo-Provera shot, whatever you put the power into, you are putting the power into something else's hands, instead of being like, nope, I trust my body, I trust myself, and you know what you're doing. It's really fucking empowering when you know where your cycle is. So the episode that you can go back to listen to about you can't get pregnant at any time is episode number 8. So listen to that one, and also make sure you listen to the one of number 10, the pill F's you up. Actually, correct terms is fucks you up, because it really does fuck you up. And anyway, I'm not going to get too into like the, oh, but this, but that. Just go listen to the podcast. We all know that I'm a bit cutthroat with these sort of things. I'm not going to beat around the bush. The pill doesn't do anything good for anybody. I understand that it can make your period pain disappear for a while, but it's still a Band-Aid effect, and we really want to get to that root cause. Oh, cue that I'm doing an online workshop called The Art of Getting Off Hormonal Birth Control on the 13th of April, I think it is. When did Haley book it in? I think it's 13th of April. And that's, 13th of April. And that's going to be at 11 a.m. Sydney time. And it's going to be fucking incredible. And also come to that if you have heavy periods, painful periods, because all the protocols are kind of similar. Okay, so what we're going to be doing in this podcast basically is I want to jump into how to speak to doctors, but also I don't even know whether I'm going to have time for that. That might need to be a part 2, because I think it's going to be a part 2 actually, because this one, you are going to be hearing different stories from different women, and they're volunteered to come on, which is really nice of them. I'm just bringing them on in 15 minutes, and I'm going to pop their chunks in from our Zoom call, our conversations in, and they're going to tell us their story. And now I am not going to be giving them advice or anything like that. This is purely as an awareness episode. So I am bringing awareness to the fact that it is common that you will go to the doctors and be told these different things. And I want you ladies to understand that it's not just you. So a lot of the time women think that it's only them that this is happening to, and therefore it must be the right option. Like, the doctor's not saying this to every woman, so therefore, because he's only saying it to me, I obviously have to have the hysterectomy. No, it's happening too much where women are being turned away. And this is not, if it was a man, if it was a man, it would be a little bit different, but this is not a hate man feminist thing. We all know that I'm not exactly all for the whole feminist movement. And if you haven't listened to that episode, I can't remember where I talk about that, but I talk about it in Asti's podcast, which I can link actually in the description. But I'm not all about the feminist movement, because it really has fucked the polarity of sort of things. And I should do a little podcast episode on that actually. Please send me a DM if you want that. So I'm loving all the DMs that you guys are sending me with podcast ideas, because it really gets my juices flowing. So thanks for that. Anyway, so this episode is literally for you ladies to understand that it's not happening to you and shit needs to change. So also, can we create a little bit of a movement here? Please share this episode, share it on your social media. It's not to scare women. It's literally so women can understand that this is not their only option. Of course it's an option, but it is a seriously extreme option, and they are not being given the lowest hanging fruit from the tree. The lowest hanging fruit from the tree is, generally speaking, flushing out estrogen, getting off the pill, and getting your body in a state of homeostasis where your hormones are balanced. That's generally speaking the lowest hanging fruit from the tree, and a drug ain't gonna fucking do that. So obviously you can tell I'm getting a little bit passionate about this, and I'm probably gonna be throwing some serious F-bombs when I get these girls on. But this chunk of the episode is literally bringing awareness to these women's stories, also acknowledging that this is happening and that it's an issue. And hopefully this will also, invite more doctors to take a look at the way they're doing things, and to invite more doctors to actually get some more education about this, because I do know that doctors don't get taught in depth about the female reproductive system when they're going through uni, and all they are taught is what hormonal birth control is the best one to be prescribed, that's the word, for that woman's problem. So they aren't given the option of fertility awareness method or turmeric or flushing estrogen out. They are told what's the best option. When I say best option, it literally means most effective and not getting pregnant option to give a woman. And that's why, generally speaking, it's the Mirena. But FYI, if you haven't had kids yet, you should not be on the Mirena, because it can get lodged in your uterus and it can really affect your fertility. So just a side note with that. Okay, so I don't make this podcast episode too crazy long, let's jump in. Please, 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 lady, I beg from the bottom of my heart, and for all the women that are sharing these stories, and for your friends and for your future daughters and blah, 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 and just for the women in the world, please post this episode on your Instagram story and tag me so I can share it. Let's get this shit going. Let's really create something where doctors are encouraged to have another look at this, but not even we're not pushing this on doctors. We're not saying it's doctors' faults. We have the power within us to educate ourselves. So let's also, put this on our Instagram story so that our friends can be educated. So next time they go to the doctors, they're not just shoved on the pill. I got another email from a woman this afternoon being like, help, for some dumbass reason, I got a Depo-Provera shot yesterday. How can I get rid of it? And it's like, once you've gotten the shot, you've got the shot. You know what I mean? And I just want, as I always say, this is just about bringing awareness and proper education to women so they can make an informed decision. And if your decision is to get a hysterectomy, if your decision is to get the IUD or a Depo-Provera shot or be on the pill, that's totally fine. I just want you to have been given all of your options, natural and unnatural included, so you can make an informed decision for yourself. Okay, let's dive into the first beautiful woman. Hi, Emily.
Hello.
How has your day been?
Very good. How's yours?
Very nice as well. I got a lot done. Okay, so we'll jump straight into it. Can you please tell us your story about the doctors?
Of course. So for a few years now, on and off, I've been seeing the same GP in regards to my hormones and my period issues. So they've been like really late. I've had, really bad symptoms and pain, and I've gone for like numerous blood tests, and I noticed, especially in the past 3 months, my PMS symptoms were a lot worse than what they usually are, and I was also becoming later and later, so which means I was becoming more regular and symptoms were getting heavier, and it was just like so much discomfort and pain that I was ever used to. And then also I used to like rely on kind of like, my birthright, like I was relying on Naprogesic and all this other like medication to soothe the pain and be like, yep, cool, I'll be fine. But all of a sudden it wasn't working anymore, and I just like didn't know what to do. So of course I, went back to my GP. I got all the right testing done. I got all the blood tests done. Nothing was wrong with my thyroid or anything else, which obviously I was grateful for. But when I finally went back and saw her for, another time to see what was wrong, she said, well, the only other thing she could tell me was, I assume it's stress, and if it's not fixed within the next 3 months, and I think this was back in like January, December, so obviously like we're past the 3 month point now, but she said if it's not fixed within the next 3 months, then my only other recommendation or suggestion is to go on the pill. And I walked out of that doctor's office feeling so disheartened, because that's the very last freaking thing I want to do to my body. I already know, and obviously I don't disrespect or disregard anyone who does decide to do that. But I know for my body, I definitely don't want to. I know all of the research, and I just didn't want to feel that disconnected from my body. I know that's definitely not the solution or option I wanted to be, giving. Like it's just like pretty much saying, here's a band-aid, just you'll be fine. Like it's not the same freaking thing.
It's a suck it up, here's a drug.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for a lot of women, they'll go on the pill and actually won't do anything, or it'll make it worse.
I knew that as well. I was like, well, I'm just actually creating more problems for myself later on. Like, I literally have no other reason to go on this pill, and it just gave me so much anxiety, just like big red flag straight away. So I haven't actually gone back to see her. I'm still having some of the same issues with my period. So I'm yet to find an actual fix of it. So I'm hoping with your...
That's in the mastermind, we'll talk about it. Yeah,
I'll get
exactly.
to that.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so when I just heard that from her, and I think as well, because I trusted her as well, like being my GP that I've seen for a while now, I trusted her opinion, and I trusted, like I go to her, I don't just see any doctor. So I'm really careful with that, because it is in regards to my health. And the fact that she just turned around and said that, it just really surprised me, I guess. Yeah. So
a quick question, Emily, were you educated about the pill before you went in there? So you already knew it wasn't a good thing to be taking?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I've done, a lot of, it's come up for me a lot lately as well, in regards to like health and well-being, and also just, females' health as well. Like I've been doing a lot more research around it, and I just know it's come out a lot, even just on my social media, like the people I'm following. So yeah, definitely.
Awesome. And, that's a real benefit in your situation, that you were able to go, fuck no. And for a lot of girls, they don't. And this was me when I went on the pill, they didn't know that it's a bad thing. And that's sort of why I want to bring awareness to it, of like, the pill isn't, I've said this 1,000,001 times, like I sound like a broken down record. But it's not a solution. It's literally a Band-Aid. I don't care what your problem is. Yeah. Maybe the pain will go away for a little bit, but it's going to come back, and most likely worse when you come off it.
Because I do know all this stuff, or I'm learning about it now, I'm trying to educate my girlfriends who are on the pill. Like I have this one girlfriend, and she literally is so scared of coming off the pill, but she doesn't
make sure she comes to my workshop.
Yeah, I know. first person I thought of. But I was
good.
so scared. But she also doesn't remember what her body was like before she went on it. So she can't even be like, this is a before and after.
I know. And that's the problem. Or the biggest one is libido, because your libido isn't developed when you're like 16, when you go on the pill. So you think that when you come off the pill, when you're on the pill, oh, I'm just meant to not want to have sex with my boyfriend. I'm like, no, you're meant to want to have lots of sex with your boyfriend. But they don't have like you said, they don't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah, and even a few years ago, like when I didn't know as much information, but I've still always been just kind of like anti-pill. But I was around my circle of friends, and I had 2 friends in that group who would take the pill, obviously for their own reasons, like that's fine, but they would take it and they would choose when they, oh, I don't want to get my period, I'm just gonna take it. Oh, I don't want this. I skipped it, I forgot to take it. And I was just like, oh no, like you don't know what you're doing to yourself, you know what I mean? And it's like, to me, it's almost like a form of self-love. You know what I mean? Like,
100%. I was saying,
and say to a 5-year-old little girl, oh, okay, that's right, just take this. Oh, but 10 years later, it's okay to take it. It's not.
Yeah, no. And I was saying before, in the first interview, so I was saying in the intro, like, this isn't saying like, you're a terrible person if you've taken the pill. Yeah. I've taken the pill, like so many of us I've taken the pill, so it's not about that. It's actually just about education, like I was saying. And again, it's just like, it's a form of like self-abuse when you take it, and to shut down your cycle. A lot, like when we don't know, it's obviously not self-abuse because we don't know what we don't know. But the problem is that it's literally disconnecting us from our cycle, which is such a problem, because then we know nothing about it. We feel so disconnected, and that's why a lot of women have struggles, to connect to the feminine, because we shut down that whole area.
Yeah, and I think also because I think if it was a male doctor telling me this, I would have been like, okay, that's fine, fair enough. Because it was a female doctor, like I said, I trusted. I was definitely a lot more surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily, for sharing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Hi, Shirley.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we'll jump straight in. Can you please tell us your story and your experience with doctors and your period and cycle and all that jazz?
Okay, so mine sort of started when I was probably about 19. I had suffered with acne for so many years, and I went to my GP, and he had just said to me that he would put me on the pill, and he'd put me on Diane 35, which I found out later was a very high dose pill. My skin slowly cleared, but not to the point that I was even happy with it. Like, it was still quite bad. Then what happened is, probably fast forward a few years, and I was having to have a pap smear done yearly. So what happened was, after a few years, he had said to me that, look, something's come back abnormal. There's something on your cervix that will look further into it. So anyway, he goes, I'll refer you to a specialist. Went along to my specialist appointment, and I questioned her as to why has this happened. Like, at this point I was 23. So I got cysts on my cervix. Yeah. So she did a colposcopy and a biopsy. Then I said, like, why's it happened? She goes, well, what pill are you on? And I told her, and she goes, well, it is a very high dose pill, and that has probably caused this. So she'd recommended that maybe I speak to my GP about going on one that's a lower dose. So I went back to my GP, and he said to me, he was rude about it. Like, I'd said to him that I'd like to go on a lower dose pill because I want to sort out my cervix issues. And he was like, well, your skin's going to go back worse. And I said, well, that's just not the problem right now. Like, I just want to sort the cervix issues out, and then I'll work on my skin down the track. So he did like eye roll, gave me a prescription for another pill.
Fuck.
Anyway, kept going for my yearly pap smears because of having an abnormality. And then probably 3 years down the track, happened again. Had the abnormal pap smear, went back to the specialist again. This went on until I was 36. So it went on roughly every 3 years. I was having to go back to the specialist.
Yeah.
Because my cervix would flare up. And I said to her when I went for my appointment, this was nearly 3 years ago, that we're looking at starting a family, my partner and I, and that, like, what are we going to do? And she said, all right. So anyway, had my colposcopy and biopsy done again. And at this point, I probably had, I reckon, 10 of them done over a period of like 14 years, I would say. And the day I rang for my results, it was weird. Like, I knew something was wrong, because she just like would divert me to reception and divert me back to the nurse and then back, like something was, and I just felt something was wrong. So anyway, she come on the phone and she just said, look, your results haven't come back how we'd hoped, and that I booked you in for the 13th of September, and we're going to do a LETS procedure where we remove the thumbnail size piece of your cervix. It's all very straightforward. You'll be fine. I'm like, oh, okay. And then that was it. That was the end of the conversation. I showed up. I get the paperwork to go to the hospital.
That honestly makes my heart hurt. Like, this is not me, and my heart is like aching right now for you.
It was just all just fobbed off and rushed. You know what I mean? Like, it all just happened so fast. Then I turn up at the hospital the day to have the LETS done, and I didn't even know that I would be given a full general anaesthetic. I thought I would be awake, so I was given a full general. I signed my consent form as I was about to jump on the table to have the procedure done.
Fuck.
So it was all just so rushed, and yeah. Anyway, so that.
And when you think about the energetic side of things, there's none of that factored in terms of like the sacred space of our yoni. When someone just goes down there and like attacks it, whether it's for a medical emergency or not, when there's no, respect really towards it, and you're afraid, it can cause energetic blocks later on, which women don't realize. Anyway, keep going.
So yeah, I had the procedure done. The next month, obviously my cycle went back to normal. We started trying to get pregnant that next cycle. I fell pregnant straight away, which was amazing. So at that point I was 36, and you get told all these things that it won't happen straight away. Got pregnant straight away. Everything was going fine, but I had this feeling at probably about 8 or 9 weeks something wasn't right. And I thought, like, I'm not somebody that like over worries about things and over analyzes things. I just felt like something wasn't right. We went for our 10-week appointment with our obstetrician, and he had said that unfortunately the pregnancy had ended at 8 weeks, and that he was surprised that my body hadn't actually, miscarried, and that I ended up having to have a D&C done. So I had that done. Then he said, when you resume trying to get pregnant again, if you don't get pregnant straight away, then come back in 6 months. So anyway, at this point, I wasn't open to IVF.
Yeah.
I just wasn't open to that, because I just wasn't open to it. And we'd hit the 12-month mark from when we first fell pregnant to when we still kept trying. So we've been trying for, at this point, 10 months, and nothing had happened. And so we decided that I was also due to go back to my 12-month follow-up appointment for my colposcopy and my biopsy. And I just said to her, because my gyno is also a fertility specialist as well, so I said to her that, look, this is what's happening. We aren't getting pregnant, blah, blah, blah. So she said, look, maybe look into having some further testing done. And she gave me a heap of things that I needed to go and have done. So I had all the testing done, had bloods done, had everything done. And we went back for our appointment, which was probably 2 months down the track by the time I'd had everything done. And she had said that my egg reserve was quite low, and that my fertility age was 47. And at that point I was 37.
Wow. So,
and she said, basically your next plan of attack is just to start IVF immediately.
I love it how they're immediate. It's like, don't try like X, Y, and Z. It's like more procedures, more medicals, more money for them, as opposed to like, here are some natural solutions you can do at home.
Yeah, but it blew my mind. And at that point I was like, oh, okay, well, they're a doctor. That I trust.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's right. We trust them.
And that's how it's been, I think, all along with my female issues. So I've always trusted the doctor, which looking back now, I probably shouldn't have.
No, we all do. It's a fair enough assumption, right? They studied for X amount of years at uni. You'd think they would be able to support us when we need it.
Absolutely. And so we went for our fertility appointments through a different clinic, and then still same doctor, but under a different banner. And she just basically said, we're going to have to put you on the highest level drugs.
Fuck.
Trying to get as many eggs as we can at once. So we've gone in, first round, I got 1 egg. Went in for a scan after having on the highest dose drugs she could possibly give me. All we got was just, it's 1 egg, but it's no different than a normal cycle.
Mm.
So I'm like, the drugs have done nothing. So she's like, okay, well, we'll try again because, every month's different. Anyway, next month we go in and exact same method, same level of drugs. Again, we had one good sized egg on my left side and a tiny one on my right, which would equate to nothing, the nurse had said, doing the scan. So anyway, was sent home. Again, the cycle was cancelled. They give you the trigger injection with support. You have timed intercourse and hope it works. So anyway, didn't work. So we've had two cycles, exactly the same pretty much. And she's like, well, this isn't really working and I can't put you on any higher drugs. So we're going to change the method. So she goes, this particular cycle is done over 2 months and we will hopefully get a good result. We'll get as many eggs as we can. And at this point, I'm kind of thinking, well, shouldn't we just have quality over quantity? Like, we just want one baby. We're not hoping to get a whole freezer full of them.
By the dozen.
At that point, we're just like, okay, so we trust what she's saying. We went through this different method, going for our scan as per usual to count egg count, a follicle count, and there was 3. So then they said, okay, we'll keep an eye on and we'll come back on the Monday. So this was like 3 days later, we're due to go back. And so the nurse has done the scan and there was 4 eggs. So we thought, oh, beauty. We didn't expect to get that extra one. And so they booked us in to have our egg collection. So I went into theatre, had my eggs collected. Then obviously they put the egg and the sperm together. Hopefully the next day we would have an answer with how many fertilized. Got a phone call the next morning, nothing had fertilized. So I thought, okay, like, these things happen, and I was like, at what point do we stop? I thought that, after the first cycle, you get some eggs, put them in the freezer, next month we'll put one in, we'll have a baby, easy.
Yeah.
She then pushed me into the 4th cycle. And she said, look, we'll just go back into it. We'll do the same method over again. We've had a good result. We've got 4. We know that you can produce more than 1. So we'll go back at it again. But this time we're going to give you a new drug. So we're going to add a new drug to the combination of that we're giving you already. So I'm like, oh, cool. So she's like, this one's got had some amazing results. At this point, I'm doing a nose spray plus doing 2 lots of drugs a day.
Yeah.
And they were highest dose that they could give me. I felt normal. Like I didn't feel like they were doing anything at this point, but I still was.
Well, that's lucky, because a lot of women wouldn't feel normal. So that's really good. At least you didn't have to cop the side effects.
So I think that's probably what made us keep going back.
Yeah, of course.
Felt terrible and was psycho, then I would never have gone through that far. So 4th cycle, had extra drugs. We only ended up with 1 egg. So that cycle didn't do anything either. Anyway, at this point, they were still pushing to keep trying. Again, I've done 4 cycles back to back. And I thought, oh, well, at this point I was done. So and they kept pushing for me to come back for appointments. And I said to my partner, this doesn't feel right. And they're like, just come back. Well, she's gone on leave. The doctor we were seeing had gone on leave. There's a new one that's come in and she's got, she's been overseas studying. And I mean, okay, like she'll have some extra skills maybe that the other one didn't. So anyway, going to see her and something didn't sit right. My partner said, oh, she seems all right. She seems a bit more knowledgeable than the other one. And I just said, I don't know. They're trying to push me to book a follow-up appointment to go back and start my cycle. And I just didn't feel right about it. But anyway, I ended up booking. We went back and spoke to her and she was constantly pushing me. We're going to give you the high dose drugs. We're going to do a collection. Just be ready that we're going to collect it, whether there's 1 egg or not. Like,
oh, no option. It's like, it's happening, bitch.
She was like, I just felt like she was constantly pushing me into it.
Yeah, what the fuck?
So she's sorry. And I was like, what? Like I said, I don't want to be overstimulated. Like I don't want my drugs. We're going to do a low dose. And I'm thinking, why don't I get a say in this?
What's your body?
I was pissed. I was annoyed at this point. And I said, no. I said, we're doing a low dose or I'm not doing it.
Good on
And
you.
she goes, and I just stuck to my guns with it, and I was rude in the room.
Oh, but you know what?
I was rude.
You have to be rude to a lot of doctors, and I've had the experience as well. Where you're just asking if your blood's done. No, and I'm a tough cookie to crack, and it will still really, really affect me. They really crush your confidence. No, and I'm like, girl, you gotta just like be a fucking bitch to get through to them.
That's what I felt like in there. Like I said to my partner when we left, I said, was I rude?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you just stated your case. Like he said, I don't see like there was anything wrong with that.
Yeah. Good.
So yeah, she reluctantly gave me the prescriptions for what I was after. And the funny thing was, when we went to fill the drugs at the chemist, they'd given me so much more stuff than what that I used in the cycle. So they over prescribe all this stuff, and it's just I got given enough drugs for that cycle to last me 3 more cycles.
What the hell?
And I was like, what is wrong with that? Like, why are they so trying to push drugs? And anyway, that cycle, we went back for our scan. There was 1 egg again. So I just said to my partner, like, we're taking a break. Like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't keep going through it. It was more to the fact that I'm into more of a holistic approach to things.
Yeah.
I barely take a Panadol. So for me to do months of IVF on high level drugs goes kind of against what I'm about. But yeah, it was just, and now we're to the point that I've had massive gut issues.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, unfortunately.
And it's that I think that it was almost an excuse for me to stop IVF because I was diagnosed with SIBO.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just like, you know what? Like I'm taking a break and I'm just having time for me, and I'm going to get over this.
Yeah, amazing. And focus on that quality, not quantity. Because it's just about
absolutely.
like, it's just about, we need to like flush the estrogen out. Make sure you come to my coming off the hormonal birth control online workshop, because all the stuff in there is going to apply to you as well. Massive estrogen detox, make sure all this shit is out of your system, and then focusing on really boosting the quality of your egg health. So even if there's 1 egg, but really high quality, it can be fertilized.
Yeah, we're not hoping to have 5 children.
Yeah, exactly.
One. But,
amazing. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Shirley.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'll see you hopefully at the workshop, and if you need anything, just send me an email.
No worries. Thank you. Fantastic.
Very welcome. Have a good night. Bye. Hey, Georgia.
Hey, Monica. How you going?
I'm good. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Pleasure.
So, can you please tell us about your story with the doctors and your cycle?
Yes. So my story started when I was still quite young. I was still in high school, and my period pain just was getting worse and worse and worse. I'd never been told about period pain, so I didn't really know what it was. But it was very painful, and it was happening, every time I got my period. I was put on the pill eventually. My mum sort of picked up on the fact that my pain was quite bad. So when I went to move out of home, she sent me off to the doctors, and I just got put on a pill straight away. And that lasted for a little while. I was terrible at taking it. So I had my period a lot. And from there, it just got worse. So I have endo. I had extreme pain to the point where I couldn't go to work. I was just curled up in a ball on the bed, crying. I was sick sometimes because of the pain.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it sounds horrible.
Yeah. It also came with like extreme bloating, really low moods, like water retention.
Yeah.
Just so many other, I got acne and stuff as well. It just came with so many other symptoms that were making me really uncomfortable. I could hardly move sometimes. So that went on for a while. I saw a few doctors in between, and every time I just felt like they didn't believe how bad it was for me.
Would you go in there and tell them how bad the pain was, and what would they say?
So yeah, I'd tell them how bad the pain was, and they'd just tell me that it was just period pain. Nothing you can do about it.
Typical, yeah.
Yeah. And I tell them that I didn't like the pill. The pill gave me quite side effects that I didn't like. So I didn't like the pill. So they just tell me, and I was terrible at remembering it. So they just tell me, set an alarm on your phone and try this pill. It'll be different. And then the mini pill, and then just all these different brands of pills. And it never lasted because I didn't like taking them, and I didn't.
Did they try and put you on a Mirena?
They didn't. I actually pushed to get myself on a Mirena.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one now.
Yeah.
It's still in. I am contemplating getting it out because I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of, my nature is I will research everything.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of research into all of this.
Yeah.
I eventually found a doctor that would listen to me.
Beautiful.
And he was a male of all people.
Yeah.
And he, got me in for, this was years, like 7-8 years after I started getting pain and was putting up with the pain. And it was because I was missing work and no. So he finally listened to me. I went and got, all my internal ultrasounds and all that fun stuff, and sent me to a gynecologist. So I went to this gynecologist to get this Mirena in. She pretty much told me, can't see anything on the ultrasounds. You can have an operation if you want to. My advice would be, have your children, get a hysterectomy. That was literally how she told me.
Said with so much love.
Yeah. And so I get that they can't perform miracles on things like this, but never once was it suggested to me to go see a nutritionist. Or anything like that. It was surgery, contraception, stop your periods, get a hysterectomy. Yeah,
beautiful.
Being a 24-year-old who hadn't decided yet whether she wanted to have children or not.
What a time pressure thing.
Yeah.
Like popping out this year or you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've got things to do.
Yeah.
I've got things to work out. So that was... like I just called my mum afterwards and I was just so overwhelmed. I was like, Mum, she's just told me to have babies and get a hysterectomy. Like I'm 24 years old.
Were you in a serious relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
We've been together for a really long time. It's been 7 years.
Okay.
But
doesn't change anything. You're 24. You don't want to have kids.
Look,
24.
it didn't. And for us, we're still not ready. And that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I still don't know. I'm still undecided about it all because I thought I had time. And it was just, and I got my Mirena in, and it's been 2 years in now. I do hardly get a period. But I get side effects. Like I have put on a lot of weight. I still get symptoms around the time of my period.
Yeah.
So I'll still get bloating and things like that. But I just feel, it doesn't feel right in my body. And I really do want to work at, like, getting nutrition correct and things like that to get it back on track and help this.
Make sure you mention this in our one-on-one, won't you, for the mastermind, and we can talk about it as well.
Yes,
cool.
It's on the top of my list.
Great, good.
I'm hoping that in the mastermind, definitely you can help me out with it.
Don't worry, I will. Yeah.
So I want to be able to do that, but doctors are meant to be the people that we can go to.
I know. It actually breaks my heart. Like my heart has been hurting listening to all these stories, because it honestly does break my heart, because we really trust them. And this is majority. I said in the beginning of the podcast, this is generalization, but generally speaking, doctors aren't so great in this area.
No. And I do actually have a friend that's a doctor, and I told her about my experience at the gynecologist, and she was just like, yeah, they tell you that because people expect miracles all the time. And I was like, okay, there's a nicer way to go about it than telling me to get a hysterectomy, we're not told, frequently that there are other places you can go to get help for these situations, which is sad. So, it's
easy for them to say, thank you. It's easy for them to say, take this drug. It's also pretty easy for them to say, go to a naturopath, or here's a period coach, or, flush out your estrogen. Like there's so many different things. I mean, it's so simple. Like they could literally make an ebook of like natural solutions to endo, and you could read it and already start. Yeah. Make sure that, and for you and any other girls listening with endo, do come to the art of coming off birth control that online workshop
Yes.
I'm going to do, just because the protocol is pretty much the same.
Yes.
So it's going to relate to whether you have endo, heavy periods, painful periods, or coming off the pill. It's all pretty much the same. So make sure you come as well, Georgia. Yeah.
Yes, perfect. I've been looking at it. It does sound amazing.
Good. Was there anything else you want to share about your story with the doctors, or how anything that you wanted to mention to these women or anything like that?
Yeah, just ladies, don't leave it so long. You don't have to suffer with it. I surprise myself every time I think about how much I suffered with it and just kind of accepted it. And
because it's just period pain, right? It's just period pain, Georgia. Suck it up. It's just period pain.
I mean, you're vomiting, but don't worry about it.
That's totally normal. It's totally normal.
Oh, you know. Oh, God. When I think back. Yeah, just like do your research. My research was how I got onto the Mirena, which obviously it's helped me because I'm not in pain anymore, but it's not the best solution. It's not a solution to this problem. But then research is how I found you and Mastermind. So then we grow and we work on that. It's just, if say something, push
you
solution.
have to push. Even when I go and get my bloods done and I'm the period coach and I still am like on the verge of tears because they're being such a-holes, and I'm like, it's my fucking blood. If I want my thyroid tested, I can get it tested. Like,
I will have my blood taken out if I want to.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your story, Georgia. There's going to be so many women that relate, so I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and everything.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Talana.
Hi, Monica. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Thank you so much for jumping on, and so last minute as well. Okay, so can you just tell us about your story with doctors?
Sure. Well, to sum it up, I basically was struggling with what I initially thought was recurrent UTIs, which is definitely a big problem for a lot of females.
I'm actually about to have somebody on the podcast for that. I've got a friend from New York. She has an incredible brand, and we're going to do a whole thing on UTIs because she's like UTI queen.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, so I went through Western medicine. That's all I really knew at the time. And I was given crap load of antibiotics. I was put on like 8 rounds within 8 months, basically, around every month.
Awesome. Gotta love that.
Yeah, and it got to the point where my data was really inconclusive. So they weren't actually finding any bacteria, but they'd give me the antibiotics anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sent off to a specialist. I was sent off to a gyno, and they basically said that they needed to check for endometriosis around the bladder. And to do that, they need to do surgery. And I was like, well, I don't have endometriosis. Like, my periods are great. They're fine. I don't have any endo symptoms at all. And she basically said, well, unless we rule this out, then I can't work with you any further. And I was like, okay, fine, because I don't really want to go through surgery when I know I have endo. So, I mean, through my own research, I kind of looked into interstitial cystitis, and I'm pretty sure that that's what I was kind of dealing with. And then I went through Chinese medicine, an amazing Chinese med prac, and she healed me up through like balancing my like liver, my body systems, and my kidneys especially, and fixing my diet, because I had no idea about natural medicine before any of this. So
go Chinese medicine doctors.
So now I'm actually studying naturopathy, and I'm doing health coaching as well.
Love it. All happens for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm so glad that you did not listen to that gyno.
Yeah, my gut was just like, nope, like you are not having surgery just to rule something out.
So when you obviously sound like quite a strong woman, which is awesome. When she said that to you, were you disheartened, or you were like, all right, bye, like you didn't care?
Look, it was a really tough time. I've kind of repressed a lot of that, to be honest, as well. Like I was definitely disheartened. Like straight away, I was just like, nope, like I don't want to have surgery or anything like that. I just knew that it was not the right path to go down. But yeah, like I was struggling with this issue every month, and it was really difficult. It was extremely painful. And the only thing that was kind of working was antibiotics, which was also destroying my body even more. And yeah, my data was inconclusive. So it was definitely a difficult place to be in. I felt like quite hopeless.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad that you found that Chinese medicine doctor and you listened to your gut, and now you're studying naturopathy.
Yeah, so
And you'll
yeah.
definitely, I'll put a thing on my Instagram story for the podcast episode where I bring Lindsay on to talk about UTIs. So make sure you throw all your questions in there.
Yeah,
And then we're going to
definitely.
do a fun giveaway with her products because she has incredible products.
Awesome.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Talana, for coming on.
No problem. Thanks.
Have a good night. Hey, Caitlin.
Hi, Monica.
Thank you so much for jumping on. So can you please tell us all your experience with the doctors and your story?
Okay, well, my story started last year when I found out that I had polycystic ovary syndrome. And I went to the doctors after about 2 years of having no periods. So I kept continually going to the doctors, and I was very concerned, obviously. They didn't seem very concerned after about even a year of not having periods, and I was like, it's not normal to not have your period for a year. I'm not pregnant. We've done all the tests, and you know, I've gained a lot of weight. There was other symptoms that I was confused about. And after a lot of persisting with them, they sent me off for an ultrasound. They didn't give me any idea of, oh, it could be this, or, you know, there was no...
So you didn't know why you were getting an ultrasound?
No, they didn't even say, oh, it could be this. It was just, all right, well, this isn't working, so we're going to try this.
Right. Okay.
And I went to the ultrasound, obviously like a bit scared and nervous and very unsure. And then went to the results by myself thinking, oh, it won't be anything major or, you know. And yeah, they said, oh, you've got polycystic ovary syndrome. And there was not really any, oh, let's help you with that. It was kind of just like, you've got that, and this is going to mean that your chances of having children are a lot slimmer. Obviously, I've left that doctor's appointment feeling like upset, having like no idea, thinking, oh, I'm only like 24 and that's, you know, that's it for me. Like I can't have children. I can't, you know. I called my husband and he cried, and because he obviously had no idea.
Yeah, it's scary.
And we all had no idea. So I actually spoke to my mom, who only was a pharmacist assistant, and she goes, oh, I know so much on this subject already. Like, let's start doing research. Let's have a look at what things we can do. Oh, I know this person and that person in our family that, you know, have it. And so I felt like I had more of a support network from like people I knew that weren't even medical professions than like the people that you think you would get that information from. She didn't even, like, I think she handed me a piece of paper, the doctor, with polycystic ovaries, and it was like a Wikipedia page.
Wow.
Printout. Oh, here you go. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if that's going to help me. So, yeah.
Okay, and then what's happened since that? How soon after that happened, you came and saw me? You hadn't had a period for how long?
2 years.
Okay. And then we got your cycle back on track?
Yeah, so I then immediately, pretty much after talking with you, like got rid of the pill. The pill had left the building.
So
one of the things
when did they pop you on the pill?
So I've been on the pill probably since I've been on the pill, and I've also had an Implanon in my arm, which is, I feel like it almost brought on the PCOS, because I never had any other symptoms before that. And obviously that maybe was a trigger for it, or because I know you don't get it from that. But yeah, so the pill I was on for a long time, I think.
And what was the reason for going on the pill?
Contraception.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So
cool.
I thought
And when you went
that
to the doctor, if you can remember that far back, when you went to the doctor, did he give you or she give you an option for, you only get pregnant this many days of your cycle, this is how to tell when you're ovulating, this is the fertility awareness method?
There was none of that, and there was very much like that negativity. If you like, even when I'd said, "Oh, we're not looking to get pregnant, but I'm off the pill," because at that stage I wasn't, we were thinking about it, but we were getting married, and there was lots of things going on. And she was like, "Yeah," she was like, "So you're having children?" We're like, "No, I'm just not on the pill at the moment because I don't need to be."
Yeah.
And it was that resistance, and there was just that such resistance from her, like, that's not what you do.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
don't
So
do
then
that.
you went on it after that conversation with her?
So no, I just decided from our conversations together that I was not going to, and I was just going to stick with it. And
sorry. I see. You came off the pill. That's right. You came off the pill. Then you went to the doctor and you were like, and she was like, "Why aren't you on the pill? Like, you're going to fucking fall pregnant." And you're like, "No, I'm not." And then you came and saw me. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, just mostly, like, I think that was such a big deal, polycystic ovary syndrome for me, and I just feel like that it definitely put my trust in the doctors a lot lower down. And even like things that my friends have said along the way, and I'm like, "Oh, you really need to look elsewhere now that I know that they're just not supporting that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel now that you're off the pill and that you've done like you've obviously worked with me, you've cleaned yourself out, all that jazz? How do you feel now? What are your symptoms like now with the PCOS?
Very, like, very well maintained when I stick to what I like, what is best for me. And I know when I go like off track, I'm like, "Oh, I don't feel very good. Like, I shouldn't have ate that, or I shouldn't have had that bit of sushi that I didn't really need." But and it's like, oh, you definitely know now that you've kind of cleaned out your lifestyle, and then you go, "Oh, I shouldn't," you definitely know what's right and what's wrong for your body. And I think that's why I knew straight away. I was like, "I think I'm pregnant." Like, because I know my body so well now.
Yeah.
I'm so in tune with myself that I know the littlest things that I didn't know before. Like, if I was like, "I think I'm getting a bit sick," I wouldn't have thought that before. But now I'm like, like, I know exactly what's happening with my body. So
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Caitlin. The power of tuning into your body. It gives you all the answers that you need.
yeah, it does.
Hey, Jenna.
Hey, Monica. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for jumping on. Can you please tell us your story with the doctors?
Sure. So I was working on yachts over in Europe for a few years. So this was about 2016, and I was having some pain in my left breast. It hurt to sleep, it hurt to exercise, it hurt to touch. I'd never had problems before. I went and saw a doctor, and they did an ultrasound, a mammogram, and then an MRI just to be sure that everything was okay. They didn't do a biopsy. They said it was just a fibroid adenoma, which is just a growth. It's basically a non-cancerous tumor. And I asked them at the time, "Is this related to the pill?" I've been on the pill since I was 17 and I'm 30 now. So at the time it was about 10 years on the pill. No, it's not. You can stay on the pill. No big deal. It's just something that happens. And so I was okay. At the time I was young, I was in a foreign country, and I just said, all right. And they said, just get it rechecked with an ultrasound every sort of 6 to 12 months to make sure it doesn't grow. So I've done that. I was in Italy rechecking it, and it was fine. Still nobody connected it to anything. I asked about the pill. No, it's fine. So this year I went to an American doctor here, and she said, "Oh, well, we can't do an ultrasound. We have to do an ultrasound and a mammogram, and we have to do some BRCA testing, which is really expensive to make sure you don't carry the cancer gene." And it's a really serious test. Like, it's an emotional thing. And she sort of kind of terrified me a little bit.
Oh yeah, of course. It would be terrifying.
Yeah. No one had told me that I should consider it to be breast cancer or that I might get breast cancer. So that was really upsetting. She said, yeah, your mother should get BRCA testing, and I'm going to send you to get this done straight away. And I asked her as well. I said, is this related to the pill? Should I consider stopping it or changing it? At the time, I was having pain again. And she said, oh, that's totally normal when you're on the pill. Women get breast pain and tenderness. It's nothing to be concerned about. Kind of brushed off my concern about it. And she was like, oh, for the side effects, why don't you try this pill? And she gave me a prescription for a different pill. It was a slightly different formula, which I didn't end up switching to. And I didn't want to follow up with her just because I felt so kind of shook up and really uncomfortable. She scared me. She did. So I actually flew back to Italy to follow up with the doctor that I had there, because I sort of had an established care plan and I knew that what was to expect there. So I flew back right after that. So this was in October of this year. And they said it grew. The fibroadenoma had grown. Still, I said, is this because I'm still on the pill? No, it's fine. Keep taking it. It's just something that happens. And if it reaches 2 centimeters, we'll take it out. We'll do surgery.
My God.
Yeah. So I said, okay, well, at this point, it's like 13 by 9 millimeters. So it's still a little ways to go, but it's growing. And I said, so what can I do? Like, can I alter my diet? What else can I do to basically prevent this from happening? And I was just sort of left with, it's just something we watch. There's nothing we can do. So, I mean, at this point, I'm still on the pill. I'm just sort of left hanging. Like, I have to keep getting these rechecks, and it's really stressful. I think about it a lot, especially if I ever have like a twinge of pain. It's
Are you off the pill now?
No, I'm still on it. Like, I've been on it for so long, and I've now seen 3 doctors, and not one of them has even sort of like opened up a discussion about considering stopping it or what are my other options.
You know that the estrogen in the pill is going to contribute to the fibroid growing.
Exactly. And I that's sort of why I asked the question, and I've never really pressed any of them further. And I guess because no one's really given me quote permission, I've just kind of kept doing what I've been doing.
Yeah.
It's like, do I test this out on my own, or do I just listen to what all of these doctors have said to do?
So what are they saying now?
I mean, when I went to Italy a couple months ago, they just said, come back in 6 months, because it did grow. They said 12 months is too long to wait. And he said to just stay on the pill. He didn't think that it was related.
And you still have the breast tenderness? Like, you still have a sore boob?
It's weird. Like, it's really cyclical, and it's worse when I'm stressed. It's worse when I'm not sleeping well. It's worse if I'm drinking alcohol. So I'm really just trying to do a lot more sort of self-care and mitigate the issues on my end. But I know that I need to address but again, it's like, who do I talk to?
Well, because also the doctors make us scared to come off the pill as well.
Yeah.
They don't exactly make it a supportive process. So majority of women that I speak to, they don't want to come off the pill because they're too scared to. They don't know what's going to happen to them when they come off it. And that's what's then so scary about it. So if they're not supporting you in that, I totally understand why it's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because is it going to be worse when you come off the pill? You don't know, because they don't support you. I mean, it's not going to be worse when you come off the pill, but like, they don't support you in telling you any of this, or like, this is the protocol for coming off the pill to make sure you don't, go psycho or anything. They just, nope, the pill's not related. I'm like, yeah, kind of is.
Yeah. Well, and of course, like, nobody really has the discussion with you. Like, I like science, I like health, you know, I like to know why these things are happening, what the studies are saying, what they're finding. And I don't really feel like I ever get that discussion with a doctor. They're always rushed. I get it, you know, it's fine. So I feel like I do a lot of digging on my own. And I definitely see the connection between the estrogen and, well, the estrogen is pretty much what is causing the fibroadenoma, but it's hard to say, is that because I'm on the pill, or would coming off the pill, if I have all these big spikes and surges of estrogen, is that worse? Like, it's hard to know.
So the thing is, with the pill, depending which one you're on, it can be, it's 4 times plus the amount of estrogen in our body.
Yeah.
So it's like the amount of estrogen we normally have in our body. I should find the actual statistic, and then I'll fix this up at the end of, like, I'll re-listen to this. But it's something like, and it's in the pill episode that I've done, it's like you need to have like 1 trillion women or 100,000 women all getting their estrogen together in their blood and putting that on a teaspoon. That would create 1 teaspoon of estrogen. Like, it's something like the actual amount naturally produced in our body is so fucking tiny compared to the pill. I mean, you think about it, it's got to be enough to shut your system down. It's got to be enough to shut the connection between your brain and ovaries down. It's a lot of estrogen. I actually just wanted to quickly just clarify that statistic for you all. It was 6 a.m. in the morning when you recorded this. That's why my voice is a little bit funnier. So the pill delivers 4 times the amount of estrogen naturally occurring in our body. And our hormones are, generally speaking, measured in parts per trillion. So in order for us to collect a teaspoon of naturally occurring estradiol found in a woman's body, we need to distill the blood of 250,000 women of childbearing age to get 1 teaspoon. So 250,000 women, we have to get the blood from 250,000 women to get 1 teaspoon of estradiol, okay? And it just kind of shows how finely balanced our hormones are and how tiny the amount of estradiol in our body actually is. So when you are throwing 4 times the amount of this into our body, you can see how it's so easy, how it can so easily fuck our whole system up, because it throws everything out of balance because it's so finely in tune naturally, and we just kind of throw this all out. Yep. Okay, let's continue with the interview. You know, like, it stops you from ovulating and having a period, having a cycle, and affects every single organ in your body. So it's a lot of estrogen. So even, I get where you're coming from, but when you come off the pill, you don't have nearly as much estrogen, and your liver isn't being clogged by this artificial estrogen. You know, so if your liver's working properly, it's going to flush it out.
Yeah, and I've been on it for so long, since I was 17, and, you know, it's coming on 13 years now. So I don't even know what a normal cycle would be. Like, I don't even know what to expect, or sort of what my other options are. Like, it doesn't feel like I have any other option from a doctor other than an IUD.
Yeah.
Which I'm not interested in.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they'll talk to me. I'm sort of interested in the whole, like, the fertility awareness and checking your temperature and all of that. I'm interested in that, but I know that a doctor is probably not going to recommend it, or
no, they tend to blow it off because they think it's the rhythm method, but it's not.
Exactly.
You don't want to use the rhythm method. That shit is not accurate. Don't fucking use that.
No. So it's like,
make sure. Make sure you come to my online workshop if you can make it.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks. I really need to.
Come, because at least you'll get the education aspect, so you can just start thinking about it, and then when you feel like comfortable enough, then you can come off it. But then at least you know how to come off it properly, so you don't get you know, like a slap in the face when you do come off it. And we'll talk about other options and stuff in there, because I know the girls will ask about it, about your other options for contraception and all that jazz. And, you know, it's really important to be just having your hormones balanced, because once they're balanced, then you're only worrying about contraception, and you can only fall pregnant like 6 days out of your cycle.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like not even that long really. And when you can understand your body and trust your body, then like the chance of you falling pregnant is actually slimmer using the fertility awareness method than the pill, which is crazy. Oh, but they've now found that you can get earrings that give you synthetic estrogen as birth control. How fucked is that?
What? That is crazy.
Anyway, what is the world coming to? Anything else you want to share with us, Jenna, or share with the ladies?
No, I think that's it. I just, I know what it feels like to feel like you're kind of on your own and alone, and when you're going to doctors who should know how to help you and make you feel healthy and good, and you just feel stressed and alone, and it's really difficult. And I feel like it's time that we start to find answers and solutions that make it better.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much, Jenna. Hey, Haley.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So, can you please tell us your story with the doctors?
Yeah, so about 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and I've always kind of been a bit interested in natural health. And so when I first got my rheumatology appointment, one of the things that I asked them was about what I could do naturally. I didn't want to go on any medication. But they pretty much said there's nothing I could do nutritional wise, there's nothing I could do herb or pretty much anything. They really dismissed it and said your rheumatoid's quite aggressive and we need to sort it out now. If you don't go on medication, it's going to get worse and you'll get deformities and all sorts of things, which is obviously pretty scary. It was a really new concept for me. I was only 31. Like, I'm not supposed to have rheumatoid arthritis. I'm still young. So, yeah, I started taking some of the medication, and initially I was going back to the doctors quite frequently, every few months, to monitor my blood levels and things. And then every time I went, I would ask them, what can I do food-wise? Is there anything that I could take, supplement-wise? And I was seeing different rheumatologists each time because I was through the public system. And every single one of them said there's nothing I could do food-wise, there's nothing I could do naturally. It was a genetic blood condition, so I need to treat it with medication. There was one that suggested fish oil supplements, but apart from that, I just got medication.
Wow, okay. And then what happened after you started going on the medication?
So my symptoms really cleared up, which was great, but I still feel really uncomfortable taking so much medication. One of my drugs is a low-dose chemotherapy drug, so I lost half of my hair. A couple of the other drugs are they're all really bad for my body, but one of them is really bad for my liver. And so I was like, this is not okay. I can't continue doing this for the rest of my life. I want to see what else I can do. So I jumped on some Facebook groups. I started doing my own research. I just really resourced some things that wasn't the typical Western medicine field. Our body is it's designed to heal itself. And I'm just pumping my body full of all of this synthetic crap, and I don't feel great about it. And so it's a temporary Band-Aid, but I'm playing the long game. So yeah, I want to sort myself out naturally.
Love it. And I think you said on your Instagram message to me that you got cystic acne or something when you started taking this?
Yeah, so the third medication that they gave me, I started to really break out, and I've never really had bad skin, but this wasn't just bad skin. This was like golf ball sized, horrible, painful cysts on my face. And obviously I felt really insecure, really uncomfortable. Yeah, it was just really, really bad. And so I went to the doctors, and I obviously couldn't go off that medication because my rheumatoid pain would flare up. So I went to my GP, and they gave me this cream that was horrendous. It was just so bad. It was like burning my face off. So that stopped pretty quickly. And then the next thing they said they just said that I needed to go on the pill. And I'd been on the pill before, but I wanted to, in my aim to try to get as much medication out of my body as possible. I hadn't been on the pill for a couple of years, and they pretty much said, this will sort it out. And I didn't even think about it, to be honest, too much, because I just wanted the cysts gone off my face.
So when you were put on the pill by the doctors, did they give you any other options for the pill? Did you ask them about, what the side effects of the pill were? Like, why'd they say the pill was going to fix the cystic acne? Do you remember?
I think they just said, no, this is what you can take. And I think because I'd taken it before, I thought, okay, well, I hadn't taken it before for acne because I hadn't had bad skin. But the doctors that's what they offered me, and they're the doctors and they're supposed to know everything.
Totally,
And
100%.
so I just trusted them and I didn't ask too many questions. I don't even think the first time I went on the pill when I was 17, I asked too many questions, and I don't recall them giving me much information about the pill then.
Yeah, don't worry, that's the majority. So you also said in your message that you asked them about gut health, and they denied that having any correlation.
Yep. My last rheumatology appointment, which was late last year, I again mentioned something about gut health, because by this point I'd pretty much said, this is what I'm doing. I'm changing my diet because I want to go off my medication. And the woman said, oh yeah, there is a little bit of research about gut health. And I thought, what are you talking about? A little bit of research? It blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Yeah,
They're supposed to be doctors in their specialised field, and they hadn't really heard of it at all.
That's crazy.
So that was really shocking.
So when you said to them, I'm changing my diet, I'm going to get off the medication, did they say like anything about that? Or did they think you're a crazy chick?
Yeah, they just looked at me like I was a hippy dippy.
Yeah, okay.
And was like, oh, good luck, whatever helps you sleep at night or feel better. That was pretty much all they said, because I even asked them about turmeric.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, nothing.
Wow. I remember when I had my ski accident, I said to my surgeon, he thought I was pretty loopy. I mean, my accident was I needed Western medicine. That's how bad it was. But and there is a place for Western medicine, of course. And I said to him, it's fine. I've got turmeric. I'm just going to heal it with my mind. And he was like, Monica, you actually can't heal it.
It's so bullshit, because we can. The mind is so powerful.
I know.
There's definitely a place for Western medication. Like, I would not be able to function my daily life without it.
I wouldn't have had a leg if I didn't have Western medicine. Of course, we need it. But even my physio, take Annie and all my other surgeons that I've seen, and they're like, you need to take Nurofen, you need to get a cortisol injection for the inflammation. And I'm like, no way, I'll just up my turmeric. And honestly, I had really bad ankle pain after my surgery because I had a third-degree sprain that nobody picked up on, and they wanted to give me a cortisol injection because they found out after I pushed for an MRI, they found out that it was there because I was in so much pain all the time and complaining. And then they're like, we'll just give you a cortisol injection, and then it'll go away. And I was like, no, I'm actually just going to trick my mind into believing I've got no pain, and it's gone. Like, I don't have it anymore. It's really occasional that I'll get pain if I've been walking a lot. But honestly, as soon as I was just like, no, Monica doesn't even have the choice of pain in her ankle anymore. It's crazy. Like, the mind is so fucking powerful, and it's rare to find a doctor. I've got one doctor on my team that is very into brain stuff, but it's really rare to find a doctor that's like into the whole brain side of things. Really, I need to hunt these doctors out that I've come across actually again and try and get them on the podcast. Actually, I'm so going to do that, because that would be really good. Really good.
I know they can't be perfect, and I know they're so busy and they're overworked, run down, and there's so much information. But I feel if you're passionate about, i.e. rheumatoid arthritis, wouldn't you look at the 360 spectrum of all of the possibilities?
100%.
Not just the shit that pays your wage. And
I know. I totally agree with you. Thank you so much, Hayley, for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Hi, Amor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for jumping on. So, can you please tell us your story with the doctors?
Yes, of course. So, when I was about 15, 16, was having very irregular periods. They were really painful, really heavy. I thought it was okay, like a normal thing and a good thing to have my period like every 3-6 months. And all my friends are like, what's wrong with you? Like, every month. I'm like, yeah, I'm a lucky one. I get them every 3-6 months. It's fine. So I thought that was a normal thing until it started to get really heavy and it was just so painful. So I went to the doctors. Of course, what they did was put me on the pill. And I just thought, just didn't feel right from such a young age, like taking a pill every single day. I was like, no, like this doesn't feel right. So I just decided to stop myself. I was like, I'm not going to do this.
Love it.
stop it, couldn't be bothered. And then stopped, it got really painful again, and my skin was breaking out, everything was worse. So I went back to the doctors. They're like, no, we'll put you on a different pill, it'll be better for you, it's going to fix everything. So I went on the pill again. Then I was like, you know what, like, I don't like this. So I got off it, and then ended up going back to the doctors because it was just not getting better, and they were telling me that it was puberty, and I was growing, and pains were normal. And then they said, oh, it could be...
That's a good one, puberty. I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, you're just a teenager. You still, your body's changing. It's a normal thing. It happens to everyone. And then went to a doctor and they said it could be endometriosis. It's like, oh, okay, like, I don't know what that is. And then end up having a laparoscopy.
Yep.
Which, I really didn't want to.
So did they make you get that, or what pushed you to getting it if you didn't want to get it?
Well, they sent me to a gynecologist because my GP couldn't help me, and he said, well, the only thing I can do is do a keyhole surgery and look what's inside you and what's wrong. I said, no, do I have to get a surgery? Yes, otherwise I can't see what's inside you.
Right, okay.
But up getting it, it was, a bit traumatizing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And at the time, like, I was in college, so
yeah.
didn't want to go through something like that.
Yeah.
And found nothing.
Wow.
So I went through that for basically nothing. And obviously after all that, my body was just not good. I was so bloated that I literally looked like I was pregnant. My stomach was so painful all the time. My skin was just horrible. Like, I couldn't even explain. It was embarrassing to go outside, let alone go to school and work. That just went on for 4 or 5 years. And then I decided to go back and see someone. It was a lovely lady, and then she did an ultrasound on me. She's like, has anyone done an ultrasound on your ovaries before? I said, no, but did a surgery.
Yeah, what the fuck?
So she was literally like, what the fuck? So your gynecologist straight up did a surgery on you without doing the ultrasound? I was like, yes. And she's like, it's probably because he wanted the money.
Gosh.
And at the same time, I didn't have any healthcare, medical, or insurance.
Oh, wow.
It was so expensive.
Wow.
But this whole time I was thinking, I just had something wrong with me. And anyway, after the ultrasound, my GP found out that I had PCS, like the pelvic congested syndrome.
Yep.
But basically had like my veins on my right ovary wasn't, functioning properly. It was really weak, so the blood was just pooling up there.
Yep.
Strong enough. So that was it. After all that many years, one GP was able to diagnose what it was. It was a PCS, and after that, with some treatments and stuff, it's been just so much better. Being off the pill and looking after myself.
Yeah, so what have you done now that's helped besides obviously getting off the pill?
Well, getting off the pill, I think, changed my life. I feel better. I'm not, an angry bitch all the time. And having those mood swings, and one day being so happy and the other day just being, horrible to everyone and being, all depressed and everything. Or also, in the meantime, while I was on the pill, because it was messing up with my mental health so much, and I got to a point where I was like having panic attacks all the time. And one of my doctors, well, where I work in the healthcare industry, like one of the doctors ran into me while I was having a panic attack. What happened? He goes like, what's wrong with him? Like, I can't breathe. And I was like hyperventilating and stuff. And then he gave me these drugs. I don't even know what it was. He's like, oh, just take these, they're going to make you feel better every time you have a panic attack. And
wow. So wait till you had a panic attack and then pop some pills.
Yeah. So took some, pills I didn't know, went to the pharmacy, filled out the scripts, and every time, I felt like I was having a panic attack, I'll just take these thinking that it was making me feel better. And I just found out that it was, medication that people take when they have like asthma and lung problems and heart problems.
That's ridiculous. Wow.
this whole time I was getting treated for something that, could have been just
And that's the
fine.
classic thing, right? It's like we pop you on the pill and then another problem comes up. So I'll put you on another drug and then another drug for that drug side effects and then another drugs for all the other drug side effects until you're just like basically your own fucking pharmacy.
Exactly. I had all these pills I was taking, like, for panic attack, pills to make me feel better, and obviously the normal pill, and at the same time, like all these painkillers and everything to help, which was, really bad. And then I think about a year ago now, I've been feeling so much better because I decided to stop taking all the medications that they're giving me, and I cut down, I came across you and listening to all your podcasts and everything. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see how everything's going to go. So cut down on so much sugar, cut down on gluten, and stopped eating dairy. And I don't think I have ever felt this good.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Like, my skin is so much better.
I was going to say, when you were saying that you've got like that you had bad skin, it's like, well, you wouldn't know now because your skin looks like it's absolutely glowing.
Yeah, it's like my skin is so good. I can't even believe it. I almost went to a dermatologist and got prescribed Roaccutane.
Yeah, wow. And it's a shame that the doctors couldn't have said that in the beginning. I've tried cutting out these 3 things from your diet and then come back to us.
No, they just kept on putting me on pills and putting me on surgeries and all this stuff. And it could have been just simple as cut down on all these things and look after yourself.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much for sharing your story and coming on.
That's, pleasure. I hope everyone hears this. And, if you do these things, it actually helps you. You don't need to keep taking pills.
Oh, so good to hear. Anything else that you wanted to tell the women that are listening?
Well, just don't take so many pills.
Love it. Thank you.
Wow, oh wow. So I know, ladies, that was on the longer side of things, definitely, for one of my podcasts. Even for a normal podcast, it's definitely on the longer side. But these women had, taken the time to reply to my message on Instagram about, I wanted girls that had stories that they wanted to share, and they took their precious time to come and share this with all of you. So I think the least we can do for them, but also for our future daughters and all the other women that don't know this and are too afraid to speak up, or they don't even know they have the opportunity to speak up or say no to their doctor or trust their gut, like trust that there's something majorly wrong or that a pill isn't going to fix it. I think we kind of owe it to them to share the love, don't you reckon? So with saying that, I would be so grateful if you guys could please share this podcast episode, screenshot, pop it in your Instagram stories, all that jazz, like I said at the beginning. But what I also want to preface is like, this is just a very, very minute amount of women that sent me a DM. I got so many DMs of just horrendous stories that I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Even one of my other clients, she was, messaging me this morning. She was, voice recording a message to me this morning crying because her doctor, again, would not listen to what she was trying to say. And it's honestly disgusting and alarming because the bottom line is, yeah, we do reckon that doctors should know everything because they are in charge of our health. And when they don't listen, this is not about doctor hating or anything. This is about trying to encourage doctors, not doctor hating. It's trying to encourage doctors to actually spend the time looking into other options that aren't just so drug-based. That's really what this is. Really, this is just about, maybe giving the doctors a little bit of pressure that they need or an invitation that they need to actually look at other areas and not just prescribe a drug and understand that's actually a Band-Aid effect. And it's giving us permission to speak up. So I'm going to record another podcast interview, which will be part 2. It won't be an interview, it's just going to be me talking about how to talk to your doctors. And so you can listen to that and then go make sure that you stand in your power when you are talking to your doctors. Really hope you guys all got something out of today's session. I guess it wasn't really like a learning thing. It was more just like an awareness thing. But it's also a learning experience because you're understanding that these women have gone through this and they've discovered their own paths, own choices, done their own, getting rid of, changing their lifestyle and food, and the big impact that has made. So please share the love with this podcast episode. I can't wait to do more of these again and talk more about them, about this issue. Please don't forget to also sign up for the art of coming. I'm doing a good job at selling my own things, aren't I? The Art of Coming Off Hormonal Birth Control online free workshop. Make sure you sign up so that you are registered for that so you can join in the fun and you don't miss out. And I was going to say something else. Oh, I just am so fucking moved that this is my job. Like, honestly, I am so fucking grateful that this is my calling and that I get to do this amazing, amazing work in the world. Like, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, it blows me away that I'm making an impact like this. Like, I just want you guys to understand that, like, I'm not being like, of course I'm making an impact. It's like I'm actually genuinely blown away that how much of an impact this podcast is having and my Instagram and stuff. And it honestly sets my fucking heart on fire. And I'm fiery, so it's more on fire than usual. Okay, I'm going to go record another podcast. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will talk to you next week. Bye. Well, thank you again for tuning in and listening to my podcast. I hope that you got lots of nuggets out of today's show. Please, 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 I would be really grateful if you could leave me a review so that more women can find the podcast and therefore I can help more women understand their period and fix their period problems. Because after all, it's a much nicer life to live when we actually love our cycle, because we do have to keep up with it every single month. Also, if you have any friends or loved ones that you think will enjoy my podcast, I'd be super grateful if you could send it to them as well, just to share the love. And that's it for now, so I will catch you on the flip side. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are.